It's a nice rainy Sukkot day. Wish I could actually just turn the camera out. Like, it's boring watching me, but the trees on this drive are all, colors are changing. It's beautiful, but the leaves are dying, right? It's a beautiful death. Not much to share today. I had a conversation with a patient. He's Jewish. I don't think he really knows. I think he thinks I'm Jewish. He always uses words I don't quite understand. I have a small background in like the complete Jewish Bible. Reading that, there's the traditional pronunciations of names. I'm trying to think of an example for you. Like instead of Jerusalem, it would be Yerushalayim. Instead of the temple, it's the Beit HaMikdash. So it's like trying to understand these. Sometimes what he says, he doesn't say Elijah. It's like a big, complicated name, like Elijah. But anyways, and I just say the English version. I don't know if he gets offended, but I'm not going to try to mess my way through those pronunciations. But he just keeps giving them that way. He'll confirm, like, yeah, that guy, Elijah. Then continue to pronounce it as he was pronouncing it before. Like it's a sin to say it any other way. So, both celebrating Sukkot. And I think I mentioned last time that it's the feast that there's the most sacrifices that are done. We were kind of talking about, the altar, and, like a future temple, and what that'll look like, and what the future kingdom looks like. So that's kind of what Sukkot's all about, is this coming kingdom. So, yeah, he doesn't think it's anything like a New Jerusalem concept from Book of Revelation. I think he's read Revelation. He seemed familiar with the concept. We got onto the topic of Messiah, Mashiach, is how he says it. And he's talking about Elijah. He's the herald of Messiah, and we kind of think of Elijah as this John the Baptist character who ended up being the herald of the Messiah, Jesus, right? And even the Sadducees and the Pharisees, they go to John the Baptist when he's by the Jordan River there, right before it goes into the Dead Sea. It's probably where he was about. They were asking him, are you the prophet? Are you Elijah? Like, and what is the difference between those two? Right? Wasn't Elijah a prophet? I even asked this I asked like leading questions I know the answers to sometimes to this guy, just to see what he says. I'm like, well, who's the prophet that Moses speaks about? The end of Deuteronomy says that the prophet greater than him, and he said, that's Mashiach. It's not Elijah, it's Mashiach. Which I agree. I was just seeing him, like, is that Elijah? Is that a prophet? He said, no. That's Messiah. And so that's why they're asking John the Baptist, like, are you the prophet? Not a prophet, but the prophet. They're referring to the one to come. They're waiting for this guy. Who's the prophet? Who's the Messiah that's going to come? Well, you're not him. Are you Elijah? Are you the herald of the prophet? And it's all interesting. And I brought up Revelation to him because, there's this false Messiah talked about. Indications, even in the book of Zechariah, which is kind of the theme here I've been talking about. There's this kind of false shepherd idea. And, because he was talking about, you'll know it's Elijah. The guy's just cutting right in front of me. I have a big truck, so I do what I want. Like testing a prophet, like how you'll know, because you'll know Mashiach is coming because Elijah's going to show up. And like, well, how do you know Elijah's legit? And we got on that conversation. This is seeming like a really long conversation. It wasn't that long. I have very short, limited time with patience. It's just we talk fast, I guess. It's hard to explain it all. And sorry about the windshield wiper. It's probably really loud. I usually have mic myself, so I'm just trying to remind myself to speak loud and project, which is not my forte. I like to talk quietly. Anyways, I'm like, how do we test? There's a Deuteronomy 13 test. How do you test for a true prophet? I'm like, are you familiar with in Revelation? It talks about this beast will have this power. This false Messiah will have the power to call down fire. And I think most Christians think that means the power of the nukes. He's gonna have that football control thing. All the nuclear atom bomb warheads, so we call fire down from satellites and stuff. Well, in the Old Testament, we had, speaking of Elijah, one thing he did was he had the ability to, not his ability, but he was able to call down fire. God honored his sacrifice with fire from heaven. When Solomon dedicated the temple was Sukkot. I didn't even think about that, but there we go. It actually fits into the theme. All these sacrifices, he actually did a whole other 8 days, like back to back. So 8 days of Sukkot, and then another 8 days. And some people think, well, this is the Feast of Dedication. This is when he dedicated the temple. Well, he dedicated the temple at Sukkot. Hanukkah does come after Sukkot, but it probably should be closer to Sukkot. So when we talk about the Feast of Dedication in the New Testament, it probably is a reference to Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. If you think about when he dedicated that temple, and maybe they dedicated it at a different time. It's been dedicated several times, right? It's a whole different temple at this point, so there could have been another dedication, right? The dedication of when? When the Hasmoneans, Judah the Hammer, kicked the Greeks out, he rededicated the temple, And some of that story is a little made up with the whole finding of that one jar of oil that apparently Samuel had sealed away, and they'd found it, and it lasted 8 days. I don't know. It's interesting. There is a 7-day, dedication period anyways for a lot of things. We're reading Leviticus. But anyways, just getting back to this idea that, there's been several times where fire has been called down from heaven. Even Abraham, when he does it's a sacrifice is what he's doing. It's really unclear in the text, but if you read other books, like Jubilees, you get a better idea that, okay, he's actually performing a sacrifice. And then you see this fire pot or this torch come down, and it's very likely that it was a similar event where fire came down, honored this sacrifice. He was performing like a priestly role. So that's just another one. So if this false Messiah has this ability, he's probably going to be doing it to light a sacrifice. And I can't think of a better qualifier. Be like, that guy's pretty legit. And even this patient of mine, this Jewish guy, he's like, nah, I won't be deceived. I'm like, well, some people might be. He's like, yeah, I guess a few would be. I'm like, I think a lot of people would be deceived. But it was just funny how he was like, nah. He's like, I'll know when they're real. I'm like, okay. You'll know when Elijah shows up. But just keeping your eye out for that, when there's the code, it's a picture of the kingdom coming. Watch out for false messiahs. Zechariah warns about it. The Bible warns about it. He's going to come probably similar to Jesus at the start. It's going to be a good time. Things are going to start getting better. Things are going to get bad, then things are going to get good. And we're going to think, oh, Jesus. But if you read Revelation, he's going to speak against Yeshua. He's going to speak against the law. He's going to come after those who keep the commandments. So that's why they call him the lawless one. So it's one reason I am Torah observant. That's all for today, folks. Sorry if not even hear me, I'll probably mic up here in the future. I'm just lazy. I do have a new phone. It does pick up better than my last phone. Before I would talk, it'd be like, so at least you can partially hear me if you turn me up. But I know with the rain, it's probably really loud. So hopefully you caught some of that. Have a blessed rest of your Sukkot. I know those who are doing solar, on the solar calendar, it's coming to an end or it's ending tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy your day of celebration.